Hey everyone, Radzion here. In this video, we are going to create a simple app for uploading files to a distributed storage network using Autonomous Autodrive API. To get started quickly, we'll fork the RadzionKit repository, which provides a boilerplate Next.js app along with a collection of utilities and components designed to streamline and simplify the development process. You can view the live demo in the description below and access the GitHub repository as well. Our app will consist of a single page with two views, one for entering the API key and another for managing files. To determine which view to display, we'll use the Autodrive API key guard component. This component checks whether the API key is set. If the key is available, it renders the child component, otherwise it displays the set Autodrive API key component, allowing the user to input their API key. We'll store the API key in local storage so that users won't need to re-enter it the next time they visit the app. If you're curious about how we implement persistent storage, be sure to check out the corresponding video in the description. In the set Autodrive API key component, we'll display our app's logo along with an input field where users can enter their Autodrive API key. Instead of adding a submit button, we'll validate the API key dynamically as the user types. To avoid unnecessary API calls, we'll use the input debounce component to debounce input changes, ensuring the validation process only triggers when the user stops typing. To validate the API key, we'll make an arbitrary API call and assume the key is valid if no error is thrown. For managing and displaying the pending and error states, we'll use the match query component from RadzionKit. This component simplifies rendering by displaying different content based on the state of a mutation or query. Once the API key is stored in local storage, the Autodrive API key guard component will render a child component, which in this case is the managed storage component. To log out and clear the API key, users can click the exit button located in the top right corner of the managed storage component. To upload a file, user can either click on the drop zone or drag and drop the file into it. The upload file component handles the upload process, showing a spinner while the file is being uploaded. If the upload fails, an error message will display to inform the user. Uploading files is straightforward with the Autodrive SDK, which provides a simple upload file from input function. We simply retrieve the file from the input and call this function to handle the upload. Since we can be certain that the API key is set when the managed storage component is rendered, we can safely use the use Autodrive API hook. This hook asserts the presence of the API key and creates an instance of the Autodrive API for seamless interaction. To display the files, we use the manage files component. Since the API doesn't return all files at once, we utilize the paginated view component to handle pagination. When the user scrolls to the bottom of the page, the onRequest to load more function is triggered to fetch the next page of files. To query the API with pagination, we use the useInfiniteQuery hook. We start with an offset of 0 and increment it by a limit of 20 for each subsequent page. Fetching stops when the offset exceeds the total count of files. To avoid prop drilling within the managed file component, we use the current file provider to supply the current file to its children. Since this is a common pattern, we leverage a helper function getValueProvider setup to streamline the creation of the necessary hooks and provider. The managed file component displays the file name or SID and includes buttons for downloading and deleting the file. To download a file, we pass the API instance and SID to the AutoSDK's download file function. This function returns a stream, which we convert to a buffer before using the initiate file download utility from RadzionKit to complete the file download process. To delete a file, we call the Autodrive SDK's mark object as deleted function with the file SID. Additionally, we invalidate the file's query key to refresh the file list after deletion, just as we did following a file upload. By combining the power of the Autodrive SDK with a streamlined React setup, we've created a simple yet effective app for managing files on a distributed storage network. From uploading and downloading files to handling pagination and deletions, this project demonstrates how easily developers can integrate decentralized storage into their applications. Happy coding!